Welcome to District Talk. I'm your host, Chad McLaughlin, and this week we have a special guest, Pedro Fortiz. Welcome, Pedro.
Good to see you, Chad.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm so happy to have you in here. Finally, we've been kind of waiting. We've been trying to get you in now for I feel like months.
I'm so sorry.
But you're busy. You're a busy guy.
It's been a busy summer, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was a very busy summer. So you call yourself an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you do and real estate and like kind of like where you get your hands in the real estate.
Definitely. Now, I started my real estate career back in 2017 through the same company that we're affiliated with.
Yes.
Through Easy Realty Group, which is a partner of District Pro Realty.
Right.
And I gotta say, it's been a very interesting career on the real estate market.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me about that. How did you even get started in real estate?
Well, we started together when the owner of Easy Realty Group and the company I was working for at the time got an office together.
Okay.
We were an insurance agency, and we got a sublease between one company and the other, and that's how we met each other. And, and I gotta say, real estate it's an industry that has multiple parts. Like we have the side of the lending side, we have the title company involved. We need the insurance agent to be able to provide the homeowners insurance, and the two realtors representing the seller and the buyer.
Right.
And I gotta say, all of us working together, that's when closing happens.
Right.
So,
right. So kind of jumping back then so you started as an insurance agent.
Yes.
Right. So offering your expertise and guidance to folks, and part of where you or how you ended up here today is you shared an office with the Easy Real Estate Group.
Yes,
essentially.
I was their insurance agent. At the
wow,
time.
that's awesome.
I was helping them, get those homeowners policies, and that's how I got introduced to real estate.
And somebody put a little thought into your head about becoming a real estate agent.
Definitely. And I gotta say, I love the industry. It goes hand in hand with what we do, financial services. Altogether, it was totally worth it getting the license and start getting into the industry. I started finding out how everything works, and now that we have a multi-service, it's all coming together. I realize how important it is that every single player in the transaction knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
So,
you definitely need a team behind you as a buyer. You need a good team, and whether that is you're getting it from the realtor or from the insurance agent or from the loan officer, and then we could even throw title into that too, because a lot of times your title folks are just as important, and it's good to have a good title and settlement company behind you, so, but when you say like team, like for our folks that are like, let's say that are looking to, like maybe purchase their first home.
Yes.
They don't really know where to start. Right. What is a multi-service agency? What is that?
On our side, a multi-service agency is a place that you can have multiple services that you're licensed to do that don't conflict with each other. Per se, like we've been doing insurance for the past 17 years. We are licensed to do insurance in Maryland, Virginia. We're licensed to do it in Texas, and in Washington, D.C. as well.
Okay.
And also we're licensed to do real estate, so we can help you with both scenarios. I myself don't do everything together. I have a designated insurance agent that can help me with the homeowners if I'm doing the real estate transaction.
Okay.
But the thing is, having the ability to have it in-house just makes it a lot easier. So when it comes down to, okay, so we have everything ready to go to closing, and the insurance agent from another agency drops the ball because they cannot insure the house for some reason, we try to do that up front so we don't deal with those problems at the end of the transaction.
Right.
Yes.
So again, kind of going back to the whole team thing, there's a little bit more communication going on when it's a team focused, multi-service focused type situation.
We try to keep that one-stop shop for every scenario. Kind of like if we have seen transaction over transaction on what can possibly go wrong, we kind of prepare for it, and we try to make sure that no issues come through in, in any transaction.
Sure. And it's funny because what I found in my experience when you're working with a multi-service agency is that there's a lot of benefits, right? One of those things being time. I mean, because we've essentially got everybody ready to go for the buyer.
Definitely.
So if they choose, right?
Yes.
So so of course there's that aspect to it.
Yeah.
But just another benefit is just the time that is involved.
Yes, and especially working with a broker, like some companies may have one or two companies to work with. A broker will find you multiple companies, and they'll definitely look after you and find you the best coverage, the best price. It's very beneficial.
Yeah. Okay. So so you have time, and then when you're helping somebody, you said you have another agent, right? So let's say you're the realtor.
Yes.
And you have your client comes to you, and they're excited, they're ready to go. But you're not gonna help them on both sides, right? You have somebody to do it. Because is that even allowed?
I would prefer not to, and I don't.
Okay.
I have a designated agent that does that.
Okay.
That side of the business, and it's just better organized when somebody else is taking care of something else. And if I'm the realtor, I'm the realtor. I will focus 100% on that transaction and delegate the rest of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm sure it can get quite involved. I know my own part. I know
Yes.
the part of a realtor. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
so you probably take on both. It's
yeah. Don't want to do that.
Right.
But it's good to have it in house and have that ability to help them, and to have the team to be able to back them up to not having to worry at the end of the transaction. Oh, I'm missing this or I'm missing that. That's something that can definitely drop a transaction.
Yeah. Okay.
So we try to stop that from happening.
Right. But what happens? I mean, what happens when, let's say, a transaction, when something does come up? Have you dealt with that before?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. There are some companies that would not insure a property per se that has an older roof.
Okay.
And most companies are very picky about that. So there are certain specialty companies that will insure that type of risk. The price might be a little higher, but guess what? I mean, if you can't insure the house, you can't close that transaction. So, like I said, having a broker that has multiple insurance carriers will find you the right carrier that can insure that type of property with an older roof. That at the end of the day will possibly save your deal.
Yeah. And I'm sure too, just having that knowledge as a realtor, knowing that there are these types of options out there.
Yes.
For these folks, it just helps even more, because now you can say, okay, we can't go this route, so let's look at this route instead.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So having that knowledge definitely helps.
It does. It helps, and it's something that I think over the years of experience that you have, you kind of pick up red flags, and you know what can potentially be a problem down the road.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a realtor / insurance agency. What if I came to you and I said you had to pick one or the other? What are you gonna do?
Well, I've been doing insurance for a lot longer.
Okay.
And I already have a built clientele that I'm responsible for.
Okay.
And I'm also responsible for my real estate clientele, of course. Mm-hmm. But it's different when let's say, for example, if somebody's insured through your agency, you are legally responsible for that book of business.
Okay.
So if I had to choose, I have to stay with with my insurance company.
Yeah.
But I love them both the same.
Yeah. And you've been a realtor since 2017?
No, since 2007.
2007?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
all right. So you've been doing it for quite a while then.
Yes. And we mainly do commercial insurance nowadays.
Okay.
And also homeowners insurance.
Okay.
And life insurance as well.
Okay.
I think that's
that's
the trio for us.
Yeah. Nice. Are you, as a realtor then, you are now with our partner, our sister company district.
Yes.
Pro Realty. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very good team.
So how did you kind of like, what happened that you were like, I think I want to, kind of wade into the water here with real estate? Like how did that come about? Like getting into the realtor side of things.
Back when I started in the business. Yes. It was kind of like a new world, I would say. So I was doing insurance for so many years, and when the opportunity came up to learn from somebody that has years of experience, how could you pass that up? We're working together. We're in the same office. I see them being young, successful people. That's something that when you see it, you want to get a piece of it.
Yeah.
And I did, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. You know what? I'm very similar. Like I got into real estate kind of later in life, like in my 30s, like, so, and I look now and I see all these younger real estate agents and mortgage loan officers,
yes.
That are in their 20s, and I'm like, there's a little jealousy there, because like, man, if I would have gotten in like even earlier than what I did, like
that thought crossed my mind.
Is that right?
to be honest, it's like wow, if I got into it when I was 20 years old, by now I would have so many
right
years. But you know what? It's never too late to learn something new.
It's not. No, not. You're right. Exactly. And that's the thing. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to get into the real estate world. I mean, especially where I was before, getting into real estate, and how, I love it. Like, it's such a fun, rewarding industry to be in.
Definitely. And especially when it comes down to what are you doing really in a real estate transaction? You're helping your clients achieve their financial goals. For a first-time home buyer, you don't know how long they've been waiting to buy a house. So for you to be able to get into that relationship with a client and facilitate the stuff for them to be able to go to closing, to me, it's like, like that's amazing. It's you're helping families, achieve that goal to of homeownership.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's not just a transaction. It's something that you don't know how well you know how important it is, but it's like on their eyes, it's like wow, I made it. I bought my first house.
Yeah.
And then they can
Well,
buy the second, the third. It's real estate is such a good place to put your money in.
Yeah, it's something you take a lot of pride in. You know, just like you said, like just going to closing. I love going to closings.
Yeah.
I'm like, not a lot of loan officers go to closings, but I love going to closings because I just love that day. It's just a big, it's a big day for folks. I
gotta say, the best loan officers go to closings.
Is that right? Yeah. You like? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
No,
seriously. Like for me, it's like, man, we put this work into it. I want to go. I want to be there with them.
I gotta say, it's a teamwork.
I want to be there with them, and I want to, and I want to be there for them too. So because a lot of questions come up, and it's the first time that they're meeting a title or settlement agent for the most part. So of course they have their realtor there with them.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when you're at a settlement, there are just general questions that come up that, when I'm there, I can just say, oh, I can, hop in here because this is my world.
Your area of expertise.
Exactly. So, but it is definitely something that, I'm certainly appreciative of, for the opportunity to get to work with folks and to help them get into homes. And to me, it's huge.
Yeah.
It really is.
Same here. It's a beautiful feeling. And the more we do it, the better we get at it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. What about so as a realtor then? What's the typical process for you when you meet somebody? Like, let's say you have a first-time home buyer client reaching out to you. Like, what do you how do you walk them through something?
Well, the initial meeting, we typically go over what are the requirements that the lender is going to ask for. And
okay.
I give them that conversation initially to prepare them for the conversation with the lender.
Yes. Okay.
So because in some cases, let's say, for example, I don't just set up the appointment with you and have the client talk to you directly without the client have a basic idea of what you guys are going to talk about.
Sure.
That way they prepare for that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once that meeting is done, you guys do your job and get
work,
them pre-qualified, then the next step is that listing. I start preparing lists of the possible homes that may interest them. I gather all the information. Where would you like to live? After we find out what their budget is, and I try to put together all the best properties available. I show them the application that I use for them to be able to go in there themselves and look at properties.
Yeah.
And altogether, communication. That's once they're qualified and we know what they're looking for, I will find a house no matter what. and that's the thing. It's I'm never going to push somebody to buy something that they don't want to buy.
Sure.
So I know some agents want to get it done as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I think every family needs to take their time, analyze. But if they do find the house they like, they have to move. Yeah. They have to be quick. They have to communicate fast because the real estate market is still very hot.
It's still very hot.
Like some houses don't last more than a week in the market. So if they do find the house they like, they have to tell me to pull the trigger with the offer.
Yes. Yeah. So you're gonna once they found that home, which to me it kind of sounds like the fun part, right? Like getting to see like your options and things of that nature.
Yes.
But they find the home and you're basically ready to go as far as putting that offer together. This is also where we can kind of go back to having that team behind you. Knowing that you have a good team, that needs the pre-approval letter, the insurance, that's when that you're going to have, somebody's going to have your back, to kind of get all this stuff in line because it is so quick right now.
Sometimes with district home loans, your company, if I'm doing showings on a Sunday, most loan officers are not working on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But when I call you guys, I get that pre-call right away.
Right.
And that's amazing. That gives us a very competitive advantage over somebody that's going to have to wait until the next day to submit an offer.
You almost have to because that's when folks are out. They're out looking on the weekends or out looking in the evenings. Yep. So we need to make ourselves available.
Definitely. So and that's what I'm saying. It's that teamwork that can make it happen because. Time is of the essence, like we always say.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is. Especially like you said in this market. this is still a hot market.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. So are the interest rates going down?
Interest rates are so thankfully, So they just cut interest rates.
Yes,
so
I heard.
The Fed did. So that's exciting. It was a 0.5 point cut, which was higher than what was expected. So they were expecting a quarter. So we had some pretty good news with the rate cut. So
good.
They meet again. They'll be meeting again several times over the course of the next year. And they're expected to continue these rate cuts. So I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for us, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
We're already starting to see it in the rates. Rates are moving down.
Yes.
So anybody that, let's say, bought last year, it might be time to even start thinking about refinancing.
Definitely.
So because that's going to be, they could save hundreds on their mortgage payment. Just with the 1% interest rate drop.
Definitely, especially everybody that bought when the interest rate was higher. We got to see up to 8%, right? Between last
November
year and this year. Oh my God,
that was scary.
Yeah, it was some scary times.
Yeah, we got to November last year and rates hit 8%, maybe a touch over 8% even.
Yeah.
Now we're in the high fives.
Yeah.
So we're looking.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. So somebody that, like I said, somebody that has a mortgage, even in the sevens, or so, they're going to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars on their mortgage payment by refinancing.
You got to call Shad.
Yeah. Reach out. Don't hesitate.
Yeah. No. Definitely. And that's what it is. I think, you do the, due diligence. Mm-hmm. You go ahead and get your home ownership. Make sure that deed is under your name, and when the interest rates drop, you refinance.
Right.
But the main thing is that you got to have that ownership.
Yeah, and think about it too. We're in an area here where people that did purchase last year, they've seen their home value already go up. I think average here is 4.8%. And this where we're at, we're in the DMV, right?
Yes.
So
stuff.
That's DC, Maryland, Virginia for our folks out there listening. So we're hovering around 5% as far as the increase in home value.
Yeah.
So they've got to. have the increase in home value, and now they're at an opportunity where they can refinance and even get a lower rate. So it's a really cliche. I hate saying this, but it's like marry the house, date the rate, date the rate, marry the house. Have you heard that before? It's cliche, but it's true. Like it's something that for folks to get into a home.
I'm a firm believer of putting some of your money in real estate. It's even for investors, like buy it now, try to pay it off, and rent it out, let it pay for itself. 10, 15, 20 years later, that house is likely going to be worth a lot more money.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening to our episode today. And of course, I want to thank you, Pedro, for stopping by.
Of course.
It's a great conversation. And I think it's good for folks to learn about multi-service agency and the benefits of multi-service agency. So I really appreciate you dropping by and hanging out with me today.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah. So we'll tell our folks where they can find you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you go to our website, www.fortismultiservice.com, or to Instagram, it's at Fortis Multiservice.
All right. Okay, perfect. Well, again, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to our episode today, and we'll see you next time.